I like to take the sad stuff and kind of give it some pep. You know, sadness with pep is kind of my
what you love let you down. You're not one of the few. What you love let you down. Remember, everyone is suffering. Everyone is suffering, not just you. Too many of my heroes die by their own hands. I just wanna stick around. Wanna be much like them anyway. For life above the ground. What you love let you down. You're not one of the few. What you love let you down. Remember, everyone is suffering. Everyone is suffering, not just you. I've been a scavenger, rattler, liar and a thief. Someone's lover, someone's son, I'm someone's best friend, oh good grief. Remember that time I called you up to say I was lost and in need of some relief. You said alright, I'm awful busy though, so you have to make it brief. What you love let you down now. You're not one of the few. What you love let you down. Remember, everyone is suffering. Everyone is suffering. Everyone is suffering. Not just you.
My name is Christopher Paul Stelling. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and this is my first time here at Tønder Festival. It's brilliant. I love everything about it. Oh, it's just great. You know, I was originally booked here in 2020, and then so we've had many, right? It's been a long road to get here, but like, I just kept imagining what it would be like, you know, in my mind. In my mind's eye, I was like, okay, this is what it's gonna, because I've looked forward to it for a really long time now, and it's not anything like I imagined. It's better, and that's always nice, you know. And I love the tents, and I love all the venues, and the audience is great. Couldn't ask for anything more, except for maybe to come back next year. That's about it. Every album starts with the album before it, doesn't it? I released a record in 2020 called Best of Luck, which was in some ways Best of Luck is a pretty funny name for a record that comes out right before a global catastrophe. But that was, Best of Luck was kind of a record that had the most sort of hope behind it. I mean, by the people that were putting it out, by me. I made it with my friend Ben Harper, who produced it, and it was the last record on a record deal. And the label, you know, everybody was really excited, and it had a lot of momentum coming out of the gate. And then like 3 weeks later, we lost the tour. And touring is really how you keep a record alive, you know? Somebody said, I read somewhere, I forget who said it, but we used to tour so we can make records. Now we make records so we can tour. And like, you know, touring is really what keeps, you know, a record is new for like, a record used to be new for like a year or 2 years. Now a record is new for like 2 weeks because the information cycle is just so dense. So if you can't keep a record alive on the road, it's just kind of like, well, now what do we do? That's where the new album started. It was in the hope and disappointment and sort of rebuilding of what happened to the previous record, because I couldn't tour, so I just went home and you know, Best of Luck was a more produced record, and Forgiving It All was just me setting up in a house with a microphone and just playing the songs, which is really all I ever wanted and all I ever really want to do. I don't really, like, I identify as a folk singer, meaning my favorite way to see music and my favorite way to play music is just to be with my instrument. So yeah, if it hadn't been for the pandemic, maybe I wouldn't have had the confidence just to strip back down to the essential, you know? So that was nice. Before COVID, 2015, 16, 17, 18, I was doing, you know, sometimes like 280 shows a year. And, you know, and not necessarily because I was in great demand. Sometimes it was just out of survival. Because if you stop, then you got to go back to civilian life, you know, then you have to assume some sort of job. And this is the best job I've ever had, so I want to keep it. So there's this fear, I think, that builds up, this anxiety that builds up. Well, if I take a break, it'll all go away. So we all stayed so active. And I think a lot of us meaning performers and musicians, I think a lot of us really needed the break. And it sucks that we had to get it in such a uprooting and just unfortunate way. But yeah, I don't know, we're back. That's good. Me personally, I just like songs that kind of create a little bit of a movie, of a film in my mind, you know. I don't want to be too autobiographical, because everybody alive is kind of, I believe, some people maybe would disagree, but I believe everybody alive is at least on a visceral level having a somewhat similar experience, you know. We all have the same organs of admittance. We all perceive with sight and sound and smell, and that's how we evaluate the world around us. And sometimes we get a little too caught up in the ego and the id and my likes and my dislikes, because that's how we define ourselves sometimes. But we're all experiencing the same emotions. So I'm just really interested in not getting too much in the way of my own songs, because I want people to be able to like kind of get in them like a vehicle and drive them around a little bit, and maybe give a little bit of an impression about what I might be seeing. Not to necessarily bend their opinion, but to just hopefully just influence their perception of the world a little bit, you know. like you were saying, like with COVID, we were like, okay, there's the good and there's the bad, and that's really, we live in like a dualistic universe. I mean, that's really the fundamental thing about it. Like, sometimes things seem the most beautiful when they get the most sad. You know, sometimes things seem the most sad when they get the most beautiful. It's like, yeah. And so, but that's a vehicle for empathy. That's a vehicle for understanding. I think that can be a vehicle for, like, fundamentally for change. If we want to see change in the world, that can be fundamental, I think. Hopefully. And it's very vulnerable, because just by sharing something that you make, you open yourself up to criticism. And that's very vulnerable. And so it's in that making oneself vulnerable, that's the change. If so many people in power and the structures of the world and the patriarchal structures, if some of these people would just make themselves vulnerable for one day of their life, we would see fundamental change. If like in America, if we would stop arguing about why should we help people that have nothing. I worked hard to have what I have, and these people, they should just work hard. It's like, how do you not put yourself in a position where you understand that you had opportunities that some people didn't? So that's the vehicle, I think, is empathy. Empathy is the vehicle.